Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. Today, we have Labrinate, I'm hopefully pronouncing that correctly, sailing for us in the Kagero. And Labrinate has sent this one in to me asking, hey, what can I do better in this ship? Now, this is by no means a bad game that Labrinate here has. So, this is not, you're not going to be disappointed. There's plenty of action and plenty of damage. But he's asking, what can I do better in the Kagero? Now, the Kagero, Tier 8 Japanese mainline destroyer, did get buffed with a smoke recently, so you get a single smoke screen. Previously, you didn't get these. Very powerful torpedoes. Actually good guns. They just don't turn very fast, and they take a little bit to reload, but not bad guns. Very, very slow, but also very stealthy. So let's have a look at the opening screen and just identify things that we want to deal with and things we don't want to deal with. North Carolina and Key, definitely we want to torpedo these people. The Bismarck, probably not so much, because the Bismarck has a hydro plus very, very nasty secondaries. So we don't want to get close to the Bismarck. Atlanta, that's one thing we need to try to avoid, because the Atlanta destroys destroyers very, very effectively. Benson, we probably don't want to get into a gunfight with that thing either. Enemy Kagero and Akatsuki. So let's go and see how this goes. Playing Cajun Domination means we've got 3 cups. So the very first thing you want to do is you want to get into C cup. So you want to go full power, and then once you've reached your full speed, you want to kick the engine boost off, because you don't know. So you do know that there's cross spawn, right? If you look at where your team spawns, the enemy team will spawn kind of mirrored along the axis. So if you're going into C, you probably be running headfirst into an enemy destroyer. Which means it's quite important to make up your mind what you want to do next. Do you want to push through C and loop around, or do you want to try to dominate C, or do you want to get into B cup from there? I would personally head towards that little island that's on the right side from here on of C cup, and just find out where the enemy team is, especially the ships I don't want to deal with. So am I going to be running into the Benson or the Atlanta, or am I going to be running into the North Carolina? Something like that. So speed boost, definitely, right here. And sail straight. There's no, if you're turning, your speed gets reduced. There's no need to turn. Sail straight, hit the speed boost, get into the cup as quick as possible. Now he's got a Tashkent with him. I would have left the torps on widespread, because you might be hitting destroyers first. So, okay, he decides, nope, I'm going to head for B cup. Now B cup is being capped. So, okay. We've got one battleship. Where do we know the enemy team is? We know the enemy team has 3 destroyers. We know they're not in C because, well, we're holding C. It's possible that one of them is in C, because but you would have seen him by now, because you are in a Kagero. Also, wrong camo for this thing. Yes, I know this is a 50% XP boost camo, but if you're in something that relies on stealth, I would generally recommend sailing with the Seaborne Assault, because that gives you 3% surface detection. And this is something I would fly in a ship that has more smokes, like Gajah or a Japanese Asian or an American ship, or maybe in a Soviet destroyer, where it doesn't matter anyway. But in a Japanese destroyer, I usually try to go, if I'm not just playing a single casual game, but I play a couple of games, I try to go with something that improves my stealth. All right, so he decides to head over into B cup. Now, what do we know about the enemy disposition? We know that there's one. We know where the battleship is, because it's spotted over there. We know where the destroyers are. We know that they're in probably in A. We know that they're in A and B. So there's at least one destroyer in B cup, and given that we're mirror spawning and we haven't seen anything heading towards C cup here, we can be pretty firmly sure that the enemy team is going AB, and that the bulk of the enemy ships is around where that battleship over there is. So let's move on. Now, if you want to go in B and contest B, you need to get behind that little island there, because that'll give you cover. Nobody can rush you because you're in a destroyer. So he sees the Akatsuki, outspots the Akatsuki, and stops. Not quite sure what he wants to do next. You know, we've got the Atlanta spotted and the Akatsuki and the Kagero. So these two are in B Cup. He's still unspotted, so he decides to move forward, and now he's spotted. So, but he's not. You're not going decisively towards that island. Now you're starting to get into a gun battle with the Akatsuki, which has pretty much the same guns as you do. So that's not a great decision because you're not going to gun that thing down. Plus now you're spotted, and you're broadsiding in Atlanta, and you're the closest ship to everybody else, and you're not going to cap. So now you've got to disengage. Smarter would have been, if you want to contest B, and I think contesting B is a valid choice here, get behind that island there, because that'll give you cover from the Aka, that gives you cover from the Atlanta, and nobody can get around you. Plus you have a smoke for emergencies. But now you're broadsiding things, and you're stuck, and you're spotted, and you need to get out of there. And you're still spotted. Now you're out of spotting range, but you're spotted again. If you're spotted, you have to decide. If you're spotted, use your guns. If you want to stealth, then find a position where you can do something in stealth. But you're never going to torp the Akatsuki or the other Kagero over there. So B Cup is currently you're not actually very effective in B Cup. Now that Atlanta is still there, and the Tashkent is rushing the Atlanta. That's a very questionable decision. The Benson is here and makes no approach to trying to secure B Cup. And again, you're spotted. You're not shooting. You're not torping. So you're not currently doing anything, that helps towards the battle result. Now, it's good that you're not broadsiding the Atlanta, but the Atlanta smokes up, coming under fire over there, and it's probably going to deal with that Benson, and the Tashkent looks like he's going to be dead in a second as well. So you're still not going to cap. Now he's dropping torpedoes against I think it was the North Carolina, and decides to get again in a gunfight with the Akatsuki, which is not the wrong thing to do. The Akatsuki is on low health. Plus, the Akatsuki looks distracted because there's a juicy battleship for him to torpedo. I would have still tried to get behind that island, because now you're broadsiding in Atlanta, and the Atlanta has just sunk the Benson. So you're the next best target for the Atlanta. Yep, there he is. And you're sailing right into the bulk of the enemy battleships. Now, the Bismarck takes out the West Virginia. You get you just took a chunk from the Atlanta there. There comes some Atlanta torps. You're very lucky that the Atlanta's trying to torpedo you, and it's not just outright shot you, because he would have murdered you very easily. Now, your bloom is still up from your gunfire, and you're broadsiding 3 battleships. If these guys are paying any attention, you're dead. Plus there's an Atlanta. Plus there's a Benson right in front of you. So this might be a good time to use a smokescreen. Fortunately for you, these guys can't aim for shit. So you're smoking up. Benson might have torps, so you cannot broadside the Benson. I would have, again, gone behind the island and smoked up there, because island is hard cover, Benson couldn't torp you, and the Benson doesn't know necessarily that you're out of torpedoes. Okay, that was some good hits on the Bismarck. And you actually secured B Cup now. Okay, so you do need to disengage. Your bloom is still up, so you might have been, you could have kept firing at the Benson, because you're never going to go stealth. You're right next to all these things. Okay. But the Benson decides that he would rather be elsewhere, so he sails away and is trying to get C-Cup and torpedo a battleship, instead of doing what he's supposed to do as an American destroyer and just shoot you. Now you've got 2 battleships, but there's still the Atlanta, so keep the island between you and the Atlanta, and then you can torpedo the battleships. I would have turned here. I would have turned right. You're never going to hit the North Carolina. He's sailing away from you, and there's a Bismarck. Get close to the islands, ambush somebody, surprise somebody, because you don't have a smoke anymore and you're giving broadside to an Atlanta. Fortunately, the Atlanta seems to be otherwise occupied. So now you're coming under fire from the Bismarck's auto-secondaries, because Bismarck isn't paying any attention either. Otherwise, he would have already killed you with his secondary guns. That's a flood on the Bismarck. So now the Bismarck's noticed you, and the Atlanta is shooting at you as well. So again, you're not in a great spot. You're gone undetected, yes. But for how long? Because you're chasing after an Atlanta. Yes, it would be really nice for that North Carolina to actually kill that thing. But you're giving him a hint there. It's like, could you please? Because that dude is really, really not not fun. Like, go, kill it. You're a battleship. What are you doing? Kill the Atlanta. This thing is made of citadels. But how does it look on points? You're behind on points. You're behind on points, and you're behind on ships. And you're on half health, and you cannot fire your guns. Don't torpedo the Atlanta. You're never going to hit him. You've got 2 battleships coming back there. Kill the Bismarck. Bismarck's good to kill. Get a bit closer. No, you're too far away. Get closer. While the Bismarck is sailing in, he's turning. Yes, that's good. You want to get as close as possible to your detection range. You're not a fast ship, so you got to keep that in mind. But the Bismarck's in a turn, so you have to lead those torpedoes. Yeah, that's a good spread. Yes, exactly, because ships accelerate out of turns because they slow down into turns. So if you were torping along the guidelines, now don't shoot at the Bismarck. You're not going to get anything. First of all, you've got the armor piercing loaded. Second of all, you're broadsiding the Atlanta again, and the torpedoes are going to kill that thing anyway. There's no need for that, and you're very lucky that the Atlanta and the Bismarck's secondaries haven't outright killed you. And the Atlanta is still alive, but now you're holding all 3 caps. The Bismarck is dead. Yeah, don't shoot anymore. Just keep your guns silent. Go undetected. There we go. Change your speed and course such that the Atlanta isn't gonna kill you in the last second. And finally, the North Carolina kills the Atlanta. Well done. Good job, North Carolina. And well, there we go. You did get a battle star out of that. This wasn't a bad game. So you got exceedingly lucky, but I think the major point that you might that I would have done differently is don't try to necessarily stay in a stealth position if you're contesting capture circles. Get more aggressively into cover. Use island cover because you're not in a super fast destroyer. Use island cover for ambushes, for surprises, and torpedo things from there. And if you want to commit, then commit, but make sure that you're in a position to do that. So try to get. If you want to gunfight a destroyer, make sure you're not broadsiding half the enemy team. Make sure that you've got island between him and you. And make sure that you can outgun him and you can actually kill him or dissuade him from coming any closer. Otherwise, it's a fair fight and it's an even trade, which isn't going to give any benefit. But that wasn't badly played. Especially that torpedo drop on the Bismarck was very, very nice, and it's always refreshing to see people dropping ahead of a turning ship, such that they can catch them out of the turn. So well played, very well played, and I like playing the Kagero aggressively at times, and just if you don't want to deal with enemy destroyers, if you deal with enemy destroyers, whoever torps first loses. If you're on a one-on-one with an enemy destroyer, get them to torpedo first, use your guns, dodge their torps, and then you've got them at your mercy because they have to reload. So these are things you can do in the Kagero, but you have to be decisive because you don't have the speed to get you out of trouble if you're getting yourself into trouble. And if you're brawling and trying to contest the cap, get behind cover. Make sure your flanks are clean, and pick your targets from there. So, but I think all in all, that was a pretty good game. So, thanks for sending that one in, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.